What's up? Today we are doing July July reading wrap up. It's gonna be real short because I only read 3 books in the month of July. I have a feeling the month of August is going to be a total reading month for me. But July I was pretty much real busy with the garden and making phone calls and doing all of that fun stuff. So I think August is going to be a way better reading month. It's already starting off absolutely fantastic so far. What you're watching in the background is a continuation of a piece that I was working on about a year or so ago. And I thought it was appropriate because, Christmas in July. I don't celebrate in July. I know some people do like the whole Christmas in July thing where they like decorate and stuff, but to be honest, that's too much. Okay, and I love Christmas. Okay, but the Christmas in July, that's a little bit much, and it doesn't feel very Christmassy in July. So I don't really understand people that do it, but I thought in the spirit of that, we'd just put this in the background. Sorry, my throat is acting up this week, and I don't know why. And to be honest with you, the books that I read this month, I was not happy with in the month of July. I was really not happy with all that much, except for one of them, which I will explain. I guess we'll go into a little bit more detail without trying to give spoilers for these. So, yeah, 2 of them are nonfiction, and then the other one is fiction. This month, in the month of August, I'm going to be reading mostly fiction, I feel, because I'm sick and tired of the nonfiction. I've had it up to here with all the news and bad shit going on in the world, so I've kind of had enough of that. And so we're going to be chilling in the month of August, and we'll just, I'm just going to be listening to mostly fiction, because I've had it enough of the real life crap. I deal with that enough every single day, so we need an escape over here. So, alright, the first book I read in the month of July was called The New Trail of Tears. How Washington destroyed, I can't even read. Let me start that again. The New Trail of Tears, How Washington is Destroying American Indians. There we go. Okay. By Naomi Schaefer Riley. Now, first of all, my first problem is, the title, okay? I prefer, the title Native American. I think that is, more, I'm not even going to just say politically correct. I just mean correct, realistically speaking, because they're not Indians, y'all, okay? When you trace back the lineage, they're not at all Indian, and it's wrong to call them that. The true title, should be Native American. So, off the bat, I knew that it was going to be kind of a skewed, I knew it was going to be a slightly skewed perspective. I'm not sure what the race or ethnicity of the person that wrote this book is. I would assume white. I could be wrong, but I assume so after reading all of the negative reviews on Goodreads. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I honestly could have went a little bit lower, but she made some interesting points here. This book is about, the crime. Not as much about the crime as I thought it would be, but it's mostly about, this book discusses the criminal activity, within these reservations. Doesn't go into super depth, like, it doesn't really go, in a great depth, about all the crime that goes on there. Honestly, you probably, if you wanted to learn more about that, you're probably better off just listening to a podcast of Susan Bradford talking about this type of stuff. It deals with the crime, the drugs, the rape. It goes into some depth about the casinos, goes into the greatest depth that she reaches in this book is about the property, and the land, and the way in which the land was divided, the way in which the land is basically locked up so they can't really use it, through trusts and all this other type of stuff, which is really inconvenient. The poverty she goes into depth about. She goes into depth about the school system and the flaws in the school system. That's why I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, because it hit on a lot of important subjects. But a lot of the subject material, I think she could have went deeper. And I think some of the subject matter that she spoke of was obviously, her perspective was skewed. She went into some depth about the reservations in Canada and the similarities between the issues in America and Canada, which I thought was important, because not a lot of people talk about the, I guess you want to say, native indigenous peoples of Canada. Not a lot of people go into depth about that and their problems there. I thought, as a whole, it was a decent read. If you didn't already know about these problems, this is a decent read. But basically, her solution to the problem is unlocking basically the land, okay, for them to do what they wish with it, which I totally agree with. I agree that they should be able to, and also the entrepreneurial spirit that they have, and how that's been quashed and quelled with all the American laws and legalese with the taxes and everything like that, and how they could have, basically, I don't even want to say monopolized. They could have taken advantage of, they could have, in other words, they could have very well used certain things to their advantages, their strengths, to their advantage, to basically make more money for the tribes. Let me see. And like, she gave a example of this, and I think it had to do with cigarettes or something, and they were basically really capitalizing on that, and their ability to sell them at a cheaper cost, and then out of nowhere, basically the U.S. government swooped in and shut the shit down, which was problematic, in my opinion, okay? There's no reason to be doing any of that crap. Now, they also made the argument that they were, selling to people that shouldn't have had them to begin with, and blah, blah. They made up all types of excuses, and it was really sick. And they could capitalize on a lot of resources and a lot of their skill sets, and the U.S. government just does not allow them to do so. And so I thought, so basically that was her solution, and I do agree with that. But we have to, because they don't have a serious police force, and because they don't seriously have, order, I do agree that certain things should be supervised, but the government, as it is right now, doesn't even take it upon themselves to do so, to police these areas, and to surveil these areas, because we all know how these Native women just go missing, and the corruption, the high-level corruption with our politicians, which Peter Schweizer and Susan Bradford talk about all the time. So there's a lot of issues, but I do think that they should be able to capitalize upon what they are good at, and the government just don't get involved, okay? And I do agree with that, within reason. Okay, within reason. So it was a decent book. It wasn't great. It wasn't, I'd go recommending this to everyone. But, if you are blind to the struggle, the manufactured struggle, really, she highlights here, by the governments of the United States and Canada, to constantly, they can say whatever they want about being sorry for what they did, but as long as they allow them to, they don't help them to really get out of poverty and just cut them checks. It's not really, it's keeping them where they are. They're stagnant, okay? Financially speaking, politically speaking, just they're stagnant. And they're stagnant because of the U.S. government and the Canadian government and pieces of shit like Trudeau and these tyrants up there as well as down here. So she does a good job explaining it. This is honestly a beginner's crash course if you want to learn more about what these communities go through on a daily basis. It's a beginner's guide. I wouldn't be recommending it like crazy, but it was decent enough. It just didn't wow me, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So that was the first book I read in the month of July. Second book I read in the month of July was called The Storm Is Upon Us by Mike Rothschild. Now, I want to preface this to my truther friends. No, this guy is in no way related to the real Rothschild family. Interesting, though, how he should have the same name. I'm sure he is, I'm not even going to say that because that's not necessarily true. But anyway, the point is, this guy's, let me just start off with what I rated this book. I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. And the reason why is because it was extremely accurate. As someone that is consistently, researching and looking into this psyop, okay? And I'm not going to say the name of it because it'll get me booted off of here real fast, and this is the main channel, so we ain't going to do that today. But by looking at the cover, and you can infer what this book is about. This book was extremely well written. He mentions a lot of the main players in this psyop. Amazingly written. In fact, he's written articles recently about the new talking heads of this movement. This guy's a fantastic writer. Of course, he's got political bias. I don't about this subject, and I'm telling you that put all of that aside, this guy is telling the truth about this movement. It's a fraud, it's a phony, and it's made to make people like me look crazy. This guy goes into depth. He could have gone even deeper, but this is a really good book to understand. He's not going to tell you it's a psyop because, like I said, he's got a political bias there, but he's exposing at every level the flaws in this whole thought process, is what I'll say. And so he exposes the holes in these people's thinking, and this whole movement, and how this just doesn't add up. And I've always said this, it does not add up with what's being said by who they think is going to save them. And it's like Swiss cheese. There's so many holes in this story, in this plot line. but he does a really good job at breaking it down, and I would recommend this. I mean, I would recommend this if you don't get why it's so ridiculous. But as we will discuss on my podcast channel, as much as it is a psyop, okay, there's certain things that are actually coming to pass that were in the drop. So, I do love this book, though. I do love it. It was 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed that one. The last book I read this month, I wanted to give this author redemption. I wanted her to redeem herself, and I wanted to listen to another one of her books because I was just so disappointed by the one that I had read. I think it was last month. The last book I read in the month of July was called Rated by Melissa Gray. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. This is the same woman who wrote The Buried that I was extremely disappointed in. And I knew she had, it's like with that book is like she was hitting on a idea. She had an idea in her mind, but her writing couldn't carry the idea. You understand what I'm saying? She didn't have the skill, in my personal opinion, to actually bring that story to fruition. Okay, and sometimes I have this problem as a fine artist, okay? I can have an idea in my mind, and then once I get to painting it, it's not the same, okay? And I think that's what happened, so that's why I gave her a second chance, okay? With this book, because it sounded great, okay? It sounds like a book that I have on my shelves, a book series on my shelf, on my bookshelves, called The Test. Anyway, it's very dystopian-esque. It's very The Thinning-esque. This book reminds me of if 13 Reasons Why, minus the suicide and everything like that. This book reminds me of 13 Reasons Why and The Thinning had a child. That's what this book is. That's the way I'm going to pitch it to you. It was a nice cast of characters. I loved it. That's why it was very similar, in my opinion, with the whole group of students trying to come together in peace. Like I haven't watched One of Us is Lying, but that's kind of what I imagine it to be like, where all these students come together to try and solve the mystery. Okay? It's kind of what this is. And let me tell you, the ending to this book was just fantastic. Let me read the plot without spoiling it, hopefully. Okay. Now, it's a group of 3 duos, okay, guys? So there's a boy and a girl, okay? There's a guy and a guy, and then there's a girl and a girl. And it's an extremely, I thought this was very well written. I could totally see this as a movie or a TV series or something. I could see this story going on longer. I really enjoyed it. It says, societies thrive on order. I'm reading the plot line off of Goodreads right now. It says, societies thrive on order, and the rating system is the ultimate symbol of organized social mobility. The higher it soars, the more valued you are. The lower it plummets, the harder you must work to improve yourself. For the students at the prestigious Maplethorpe Academy, every single thing they do is reflected in their ratings, updated daily and available for all to see. But when an act of vandalism sullies the front doors of the school, it sets off a chain reaction that will shake the lives of 6 special students and the world beyond. This book was so good. I got so wrapped up in the characters and everything like that, and the drama of something like that happening in a supposed to be perfect utopian society that's really dystopian society. It's a prison system. It also reminded me with the ratings and stuff like that of a Brave New World type of thing that they had going on there with that, or a Legend. Because I think in Legend, the Legend series by Marie Lu, they also, if you didn't pass the test, kind of like The Thinning, I believe they died. It's been a while since I read it, but there's only certain things from that story I remembered. sadly, because I know those were some damn good books. But this was a real good one. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I'm glad that I gave her a second chance, because like I said, it's like she had a great idea with the book that I had read previously by her, and it's just like her writing style, it just couldn't carry the story. But I feel like if somebody else wrote it, it would have worked. And so, but this story was good on its own. I enjoyed this story a lot. So yeah. What else am I gonna say? Okay, so now that is over, and I talked about the books that I read in July, which, like I said, was only 3. I mean, it wasn't a great reading month, and it wasn't amazing. Okay, but it was decent. This month, like I said, I am thoroughly enjoying what I'm starting to read this month. I was able to start listening to the Scythe series by Neil Shusterman. It is, I'm just going to say, it is amazing. Now, we will get into more depth on each book when I do my wrap up for this month, next month. But guys, this now he's also made a quartet. I think it was the Unwound or Unwind quartet, and I have 2 of the 4 of those books on my shelves. I need to get the other 2. It's very difficult to find his books, and now I know why. This guy is a phenomenal writer. I mean, phenomenal. Like, I could totally see, I am getting enveloped in this story. This story is all-consuming. It's so, and this is exactly what I needed. I needed a series to pull me into the story, and I need to get engaged. And so that is what this series has done for me. It is just so, it is just so amazing. And he's got a 4th book to the Scythe series coming out this November. I think it's a short story mix-up or whatever, and I haven't finished the 3rd book yet. I'm in the process of doing so right now. But, so I don't know what the 4th book is going to entail yet, because I haven't gotten to the finish line. But let me tell you something. This guy is so freaking good. Like, guys, I'm telling you, if you want a good dystopian read, listen to his book. Like, listen to his book series. This Scythe series, I'm telling you guys, it's not going to disappoint. It is amazing, y'all. And the audiobook narrator is not bad either. He's pretty good. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this, and he's a really good author. So I'm loving it, and it's just great. And I even love the book cover and everything. The vibe of these stories is just I could totally see it as a new dystopian movie franchise. I could totally see this being adapted into a movie someday, a movie series someday, because it's just like the vibe that these books give is just like so strong. I've only read, like, I read a lot of dystopian guys, like, you guys should know this already, but I've never read a book series that so, like, gives such a good setting. It's just like the world building is so good. I'm just obsessed, guys. I really am. So yeah, I'm having fun with that so far. And the movies and stuff, I mean, the movies, y'all, I don't know, because I don't date the movies that I've watched. All I know is it's been a slow year for the movies and stuff, guys. The movie releases this year are really slow, not killing it. The film industry right now is so dead. It's like so dead. The only thing I'm waiting for right now in terms of movies is that Jordan Peele movie. That's the only thing I'm really waiting to watch this year. But I mean, because there's like nothing else, guys. It's like the movies this year kind of suck. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's really nothing coming out. So, I will give a shout out to a movie that I watched last night, though. And a movie series that I'm surprised I haven't watched sooner. That I know I watched, not last month, but in the past week or so. Because why not? Because this video is going to be short without it. I recently watched the Now You See Me movies. Why have I not watched these before? They were so good. And I'm just shocked that I hadn't seen them before. They were really good, y'all. And then last night, let me tell you where I get most of my movie recommendations from, because I've had a lot of people talking about movie recommendations and stuff like that, and asking about movies and shows and stuff like that, and I've been talking to a lot of truthers about different shows and movie recommendations and stuff like that. But I want you guys to know, okay, you can always hit me up for some movie recommendations, even though I post all of like everything I've watched and my opinions on here. I do understand not all of you have the chance to watch like a 40, 30, 20 minute video. So whenever you do need a good recommendation, hit me up, definitely. But I will say that if you don't want to listen to me or get recommendations from me, I will tell you where I get mine from. Most of mine from. I usually get most of my movie recommendations from Flick Connection. He is an absolutely amazing YouTuber. Most of what he recommends, I totally dig. And last night I watched A Most Violent Year, which was, oh my god, it was so good. He, the guy from, I think his first name is like Isaac something. I don't even know what his full name is, but anyway, he played Moon Knight. And I hated Moon Knight. And I told you that in my mid-year wrap-up. I absolutely hated that show. This movie was so good. If you don't like Moon Knight and you want to give this actor another try, watch that movie. A Most Violent Year. He played like this Italian entrepreneur in New York City back in like the 80s and stuff like that. So fantastic this movie was. This movie was just great. And it was long, but it didn't feel that way when watching it. It was a good one, y'all. It was definitely a good one, and he recommended that, Flick Connection. So I get most of my movie recommendations from Flick Connection. He is absolutely great. If you want to watch good movies, and I don't know if he does show recommendations, but I do, so it's another reason to watch me instead. But he's great, guys. I mean, he does some really great recommendations, and I'm really curious now as to what this guy's ethnicity is, because he was able, because he's so tan, he was able to play a Middle Eastern dude and an Italian dude. I don't know if he's Middle Eastern or Italian, or if he's both, or if he's neither. I'm really curious now. Let me look this up, because I was wondering this. Oscar Isaac. Okay, that's his name. So that's not his first name. Blah, blah, blah. Let me see. Oh my gosh, yeah. See, this is crazy. I think he's Hispanic. Let me see. See, I always be shocked by, like, when you look up, yeah, he's Guatemalan. Wow. Dude, that's crazy. That is crazy. See, I be like, my mind be boggling um, when I see like these people who are really, and that's actually a good way to put it. I'm scrolling down through here. I just looked it up on Google, and it says that he jokes about seeing, oh my gosh, being seen as ethnically ambiguous. And that's the thing that's really interesting as time goes on, and as the races, well, he's not even mixed though. That's what's crazy about it, is he's not even mixed, and he looks, I mean, when I saw him in Moon Knight, I mean, he looks like he could be Middle Eastern. He looks like he could be, he's passable. As he's definitely passing as Middle Eastern. He could totally pass as Italian. And so it's crazy. That's crazy. My mind be like blowing up every single time I look up these people's ethnicities. I'm like, yo, like, what? So you're playing a Middle Eastern dude and you're Hispanic, and that's crazy. But he's got a crazy tan. So I guess he can basically, I guess he can get whatever job in Hollywood, because, I mean, I didn't know what he was when I saw him, y'all. Like, I knew he was something, but I just didn't know what. So that's interesting. Interesting. But I hated him in Moon Knight. So if you hated him in Moon Knight, I'm telling you, watch A Most Violent Year. He was great in that. He was absolutely fantastic. Even the setting, like, they just did such a great job with the movie and cinematography. I thought it was great. So that concludes for the July reading wrap up, and plus a little bonus, a few bonus recommendations at the end here. Thought I'd throw that in because July was not a great reading month. It was good, but not great. So I'm really excited about this month though. And let me update before I go. Let me update you on my reading progress. Oh, this is fantastic news, guys. So, as you know, last year I told y'all that I had set my goal for 35, okay? Because I didn't take the whole challenge seriously in the beginning of the year. Because I didn't take it seriously. It was a struggle to make 35. I didn't make 35. I made 27. Okay, 27 out of 35 last year, which wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. But this year I set the goal for 10, no, not 10 higher, 5 books higher than 35, which is 40. Because I knew that I was going to get serious in the beginning, and I knew that this was going to happen. According to Goodreads, I am 4 books ahead of schedule. That is wonderful. I've never ever had that through any of these reading challenges in the past. So I'm on the way to success now, and currently I have read 28 out of the 40 books, which means that I've already read one more than my highest reading year ever, which the highest number I've ever read in these past few years has been 27, which was last year. So I'm already a book over that, and I know I'm probably, guys, realistically, the way I'm going, I will hit 30 out of the 40 books probably by, like, I'm going to say before the weekend's up. And then, so that leaves 10 books that I have to read for the next, let me see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 10 divided by 4. I can't do math. Oh my god, it's so pathetic. I can't do math like this. Anyway, the point is it's way less books that I have to worry about reading each month now that I've really given myself a head start here. So, I might even pass 40 books is what I'm saying, depending on how these next few months go. But I'm definitely going to make the challenge this year is what I'm trying to say. But exciting news. And until next time, guys, bye.